Hi everyone, this is Julie Bean with Beadaholique. Thank you for joining me as we make a Christmas earring together in this video. What we're going to be making is this earring here. I call it the Rockin Retro Christmas earring because this tree design looks very retro to me. It looks very 50s, very mod. So I paired it with some nice prestige crystals in the round shape to kind of mimic the round of the balls on the Christmas tree. And it's very dangly and fun. So we're going to be making this here in the video. And then I wanted to show you real quick, there are other sweet and petite charms that you could use just as easily. So if you really like the little Santa Claus or the moon, you could swap it out for the Christmas tree with this design. And you won't change any of the design process at all. So what we're going to be using is artistic wire, 22 gauge. And this is in place of using jump rings, head pins, eye pins, any findings like that. So this is going to be our main connector. We're going to be using a pretty earring hook, a 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm bead. And then for our tools, we've got our wire looping pliers. You can use round nose if you'd prefer. You have your chain nose, not your chain nose, you have your cutters, oh my goodness. And then you have a couple pairs of chain nose pliers handy as well. So those are our supplies and our tools, and we're gonna make the earring together. To make our earring, we are gonna grab our artistic wire, and we're going to cut about 3 inches. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want about a 3-inch length. So what we're going to do is take our wire looping pliers, and about 1 inch from the end, you're going to go ahead and make a little loop. So we just caught that wire in between the 2 noses, and then we bent it down. Now we're going to rotate this up and crisscross. And so when we pull our pliers out, we've got a nice little loop. Now for this first one, what we're going to do is we're going to grab that loop with our chain nose pliers and do a couple little wraps. Okay, so we got a couple little wraps on there. You could do more than that, or you could do less. Basically what you're wanting to do is just make sure that it's secure and anchored so that your beads do not fall off. So here we go. Now, normally I would tuck my end, and I'm going to go back and do that at the end of this one, just because it's easier to do once I put a bead on here. So I'm going to take my 8mm bead. I'm going to slide it on. And now I'm going to go to the other end, and I'm going to do something very similar. So I'm going to grab it. Now, I'm not grabbing it exactly where it exits the bead. You see, there's a little gap right there. And I'm actually going to scoot these guys over so we can see a little bit better, I think. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing where we pinch it and then crisscross. Now what I want to do with this one though is before I actually do my looping and my wrapping, I want to open this up a little. And what I'm going to do now is grab my other Christmas tree charm and slide it on there. Now I want to close that up. I close it up just by pinching it shut. And I'm going to hold it right there where it crisscrosses. And now I'm going to do a couple wraps. Okay, so I did a couple wraps right there. And now I'm going to trim my tail. At this point, I do want to tuck my rough wire ends in. And to do that, you're just going to pinch like this with your chain nose pliers on the wire. You're just squishing that rough end into its wrappings, just so it doesn't snag you or your sweater or get caught on your hair, anything like that. I did that to both sides. So this is what we have so far. So that is step 1 of making this earring. For step 2, we're going to grab another 3-inch length of the wire. And we're going to repeat. So we're just going to go ahead, pinch, crisscross, go over, make that little loop. But now, instead of like on the first step where we actually did our wrappings first, we're not going to do that. We're going to open this one up and slide on our existing little dangle. Now we're going to close this one up just by pinching it and do a couple wraps. You see I'm sometimes straightening out this wire just by pulling on it. Okay, and now we're going to cut our tail and slide on our medium-sized bead, which is 6mm. And now what we're going to do is we're going to Do the same thing up here as we did with the last segment. And pinch, rotate. And on this one, we can just go ahead and do our wrappings. Because there's nothing right now to connect onto it at this point. Okay, so we've done a couple wrappings. We're gonna trim it. And now we're gonna go back and tuck our tails. Okay, and we're gonna do that on the other side too. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. All right, only one more to go. Same exact process. Now, as the beads do get a little smaller, you could cut a little bit less wire, but when you have a whole spool of wire, it does give you a lot to work with, which is nice. So you don't have to, be too cautious. I mean, obviously you want to save your supplies and make them stretch as much as they can, but you also don't want to make it really difficult on yourself. Just following the same process. This is our last one. This is our little 4mm. And on this one too, you're just going to go ahead and do your wrappings. And tuck your tails. Or ends, I should say. When I say tails, it sounds like a puppy dog tail or something. But your ends, your tails, the little bits of wire here, just to make sure that they're secure. Okay, so we've got the main part of our earring done. And now I'm going to show you how to attach the earring hook, but also make sure that your earring hangs straight. Okay. Before you attach your earring hook, what you want to do is you want to hold up your earring based upon how it's going to hang. So if you see your earring hook here, it's got a little loop facing this direction. So it's gonna go like this. So what you wanna do is hold up this earring and make sure it hangs straight, which it does not. So see how my charm is going off towards the back? Okay, let me just twist it forward. Okay, so it's almost there, but what I can do is I'm gonna take my other chain nose plier, I'm gonna twist this loop a little bit forward. So I've got those two loops. Now how does it hang? Oh, now it's hanging good, it's hanging straight. So you can see that when we hang this on our hook and hang it from our ear, the little tree is gonna be facing forward, which is exactly what you want. So it's just a simple twisting of one of the loops. Now we're gonna open the loop at the base of the earring hook. And remember which orientation you had, so this is facing forward. So you can pick this up. And we want to put it onto the earring hook so it still faces forward and close it on up. And there we go. We've made our matching earrings. So here are the Rockin Retro Christmas earrings. Fun pair of earrings to wear to a holiday party or just out and about during the Christmas season. So you can find all the supplies for this project. I have a little memory wire bracelet here as well. And then all these wonderful sweet and petite Christmas charms. I think these are one of my favorite things this season over at Beadaholique.com.